I'm so happy.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, to see my love, Mr.
Oh,
Emerson.
oh no. No, don't do that. There's someone special here.
Oh, yeah, I know,
Yeah,
I know. I'm
yeah.
joking. I'm cheeky.
I know.
I like to trigger sometimes some. um, Let me start with a short testimonial.
Oh no. Okay, okay, go ahead.
Otherwise, I would forgot it
Yeah,
because I often forgot it when I'm doing this. I have done these videos with
yeah.
some apparent others. So, Emerson, no one special, and here is so much love that I can't deny through you, towards to you, and also for all others speakers, seemingly. And yeah, it is exploding, and especially, although there is no one special, towards to you, because in a story, Emerson was apparently this one who was whispering to Ere that here is no one, and it was like silent whispering. It was your, I don't know, emptiness reflecting or something. Whatever you were speaking at that time, it was heard like, oh my god, it's like I don't understand where it comes from, your mouth or from my ears, where this listening happens, because it felt like these are my words, my
Yeah.
words. It was like arriving to home where from where I
Oh,
wasn't never left, or yeah. So here is so much gratitude and love. Thank you
oh,
for
same here.
nothing.
Same here. So much appreciation and gratitude here, for everything, for
For nothing.
everything. It's it's so wonderful to talk about this, and there is just this apparent kind of like communication that it's not really heard, right? But there's a resonance,
Yeah,
with what's being said. It's this there's no transference, there's no, what do you call that, there's no transmission or whatever. It's just what's obvious. It's obvious that there's just this absence, and the same gratitude that you feel is the same gratitude that I feel for speakers that have spoken about this in the past, right? And although there's no others and there's no past, but you know what I mean, there's just this kind of like, oh wow, there's just this, like, the silent contentment, I call it. There's just this contentment, right? It's just wow. Yeah. Well, thank you though. Thank you. I appreciate that too. It's
mm.
uh it's it's great to it's great to watch your channel grow. It's awesome. And you're talking to Grace. The last one that I saw on was you with Grace Non-Duality. And she's amazing. She's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
She's just
yeah.
great. Yeah. And she just messaged me that she adores you, and all that kind of stuff. It's just
Yeah, and getting these feedbacks, these positive feedbacks are so beautiful. Like even when they are not in commenting, but sending privately that I was
yeah.
listening this and I like this and that.
Yeah.
But yeah, all comments are beautiful, even if they
Yeah.
are a little bit attacking or picking something there.
You're getting that too now, huh? You're getting a lot of the
Yeah, and
um
it was so surprising when first time I started to get these attacking comments, and like little bit some old conditioning wanted to arise, but somehow it didn't, and all
yeah.
these like ugly comments somehow turned to love. I don't know, and here was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this is unconditional love.
Yeah,
Maybe we are not doing it; it's just what happens. No one doing.
yeah.
So
It's
it was
just
just
really
innocent.
innocence appearing as these comments, and there's any response that you have is also innocent, so there's no separation from the comments and the responder. It's hilarious because sometimes, what, deleting also happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And that's also innocence,
yeah,
right? It's just it what the when this is talked about, it's always, there is always the moment that there is a trying to get it or trying to understand it or trying to, you know, analyze it, that's duality already. I'm not saying that this should just be accepted, rejected, or acceptance is the same. It's dualistic, right? But what's being expressed is just there's this um wholeness, and there's wholeness that, you know, that whatever seems to appear is it. So when there's a commenter and, you know, and they're trying to um troll, analyze, discuss, you know, challenge and everything, that's welcome, that's cool and everything, but there's no response that's going to, you know, satisfy. It's not a satisfying response, because really the response would just be really there's nothing happening. And that's the most obvious response, and a commentator would not like that response, right? There would be kind of like a rejection of that response, and they go a little bit cheeky, you know, saying with the response, well, if there's nothing happening, how come you're speaking about this if there's no one there? um but it's missing the point that there's no point to this. They're trying to make a point that there's a point, and anything that's appearing is just, you know, it's just an appearance. Yeah, it's
And
just what is.
I will read you one
Okay.
latest comment that I just got.
All right.
I don't mention the names, just
Okay.
here often no responses happen, so let's see
Yeah.
what
Yeah, sure,
response
sure, sure.
maybe happens there. The reason I make comments is because there is a reason to make them. It's just what's happening, but it is happening. Love is important to me. To say there is no I am is denial of love. It's misleading people. It's not helpful. If you have no point to make, why keep making that point? Point is, you are trying to make a point. I matters to you. That's where the love is.
Well, you know what? It's really all just unconditional love. You know, the question and the you know, the idea of what seems to be happening there, although there's no there, but the response is this, right? You know, um, this is just an appearance. This talking to Ere talking to me is an appearance. This response to the question is just an appearance. It feels absolutely real, but it's also not happening. It's like when you are seeing colors, you see kind of like billions, hundreds of colors. There's actually no color. And you can research that if you like. Or when there's this feeling of localization that you are in a location, but this is really locationless. Or when, you know, you're convinced that there is time, but it's really just timelessness. And 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 that can't be figured out. Although science is trying to catch up to that, you know, they have, you know, there's a Nobel Prize that there's no local universe, you know, there is an article about, you know, that this is really colorless. There's just this perception. So the perception that someone is choosing this, that I am, have a purpose, or I am love, or there's an I am, is just another perception. It does not make it real or unreal. It feels real, but it's also unreal. So it's not one or the other. So that's the juxtaposition of something that it's when somebody's trying to figure out, they come to a position and they think that Eri has a position or Emerson has a position, but really there's no position here. What's being expressed is the obviousness that what seems to be appearing seems to be dualistic, but it's actually not dualistic. It's not separate. So any kind of like questioning about your point or your position or something is moot. It cannot really be argued because there's really no one that's making a position here. What's being expressed is the passion that is coming out from expressing this is that there's nothing needed. There's nothing that there's no questions that need to be answered, because questions and answers are just basically the same side of one coin. And it's just coming from a perspective. Again, going back to what I was saying before, every single perspective, every single position is illusory. It's like seeing blue and red and yellow and golden and everything when it's actually really colorless. There's this perceiver and the perception. And the one that's perceiving all of these things is illusory. The moment that that character goes to sleep at night, that character collapses, and then it rises up somehow the next morning, although there's no morning and night. And then there's illusion of continuity, that it's a continuous character that was born in whatever 1971, that is 51 right now. But really, there's no 1971 and there's no now. Everything that's appearing is just appearing all in this, and there's nothing outside of this. And that's hard to comprehend, because you can say that, well, I have pictures of me being born in 1971, but that's just appearing in this. So there's this illusion of this linear, movement, from here to there, historical me. But if you really look at the me, it's a fragmented illusion that appears here and there. So when it's maintained over and over and over again, there's this belief system that I have a position, and their position is that, well, if there's no one there, how come you're talking about this? That's a position. And it's going to be responded with another position that seems to be positionless. And it's going to be, well, there's no one here, so there's no one choosing to speak about this or not. It's just what's happening. It's not that there's someone here that knows any better, or Eri knows any better, or, there's no one that knows. And that's what's obvious, is because when there's an absence, it's not just an absence here, it's also an absence there. So the one that's writing the comment is also not there, but he thinks is there. He thinks is there. And the one that's responding here is just this appearance of someone speaking about that. And it doesn't even have to be thought about. It does not require any thinking. There's just this appearance. It's like colors. This is colorblind, this communication. This is blindness. And even the idea of love is just another idea, because the moment that it becomes a thought about what is, then it becomes the position of what love is. And the reason that, I don't really talk a lot about love, because all I see is unconditional love. I don't even see unconditional love. It's just unconditional love. The one that's seeing, the one that's hearing, it's all unconditional love. But yeah, sorry, that was a long response.
Very good. Yeah.
It's just what is obvious. It's what's undeniable. And the undeniable is that no one knows. Who knows? So there's people that listen to this that thinks that someone has figured out something. And that's the freedom, is that no one knows. It's equally nothing. It's not like someone got something and they figured out that it's nothing. No, it's all nothing.
Yeah. I remember the emotions here at first, like I wanted to like run outside and scream, it's so obvious, like,
Yeah.
but I even didn't know how to explain, but it was so obvious, here is no one, haven't
Yeah.
been here, and I didn't get anything.
Yeah.
No jackpot.
You're like, well, who am I going to tell if there's no one? Yeah. It's ridiculous, right? Because there is this, there's this special idea about what this is, but actually it's not even, it's the loss of the specialness. It's kind of like I guess there's no one special here. It's done. It's done. Or it's like, okay, you know what? This is just really ordinary. This is just the trees, the grass, the sun, the air. It's just as it is.
Yeah.
And this is also as it is. It's not separate from the trees. Although words are just separating what is as birds, the sun, the me. But there's really no birds. There's really no sun. There's no me, because they're just words and trying to dress up what is into a separate idea of something that's not really separate, which is just, which is kind of like what was crazy, because I was kind of like, I was trying to speak, I'm like, oh, wow. It's like it seems to be hidden in words, but the words, and ideas and thoughts, and it's just layers and layers and layers and illusion. But it's quite obvious that it's just directly, without any words, without any thoughts, without any ideas, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's even saying way too much.
Mm-hmm.
Way too much already, because it can't really be discussed. We're just basically like birds chirping, it's like chirp, 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 chirp. And then when somebody responds, it's also chirp, chirp, chirp. So there's no difference. And since there is no one really choosing to do this, right? I was, you know what, it's kind of funny because I was reluctant and hesitant to speak about this initially, right? It was just my speaking kind of like happened by accident. Someone could not make it. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I've been speaking in the breakout rooms anyway. So I just did, there's like 40 people here. So I started speaking, and there's just a joy. There's just a joy that I have no idea why.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, there's just a joy that drowns every negative comment out there, every kind of like ridicule and joking that they're like, oh, you know, you think that you're no, and I'm like, no, 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 it's not a thought. Or why are you speaking when, you know, when, you know, if there's no one there, who are you speaking to? And I'm like, well, that's the cosmic joke. There is no one here, but somehow in this appearance, like colors, we are talking to each other, but we're really not talking to each other because there's no others. It's just and the reason I love one-on-ones is because it's kind of like, it's just emptiness to emptiness speaking.
Yeah.
You know, it's just almost like hello, you know. Hello, it's like a mirror, although there's no separate, so there's not even a reflection. It's just the directness. It's just this kind of like, it's so obvious, you know, that there is just no one. And when we did our one-on-one, there was just this kind of like, you know, it's just this obviousness. It's just showing itself.
Exactly.
It's just a show of itself, but there's not even a self, so it can't be figured out. And yeah, I get it, you know. I'm saying, like, with all of the comments and all that kind of stuff and everything, do you think if there was really a choice that someone would speak about this? It doesn't make any money, you know what I'm saying? It's not about like making money or anything like that. It's the most ridiculous thing ever to talk about because it's and it doesn't logically make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And it sounds, and if someone is hearing this that's never heard of what is non-duality, um it sounds just, and I understand, you know what I'm saying, there's a lot of kind of like, you know, when I get those comments, I'm like, yeah, they're coming from a position, and that's just really innocence as well. Right, there's just not trying to figure anything anymore out, because who's trying to figure out when there's no one? So okay, so do you get a lot of those comments now? I can tell you do.
Some, but not much. But it is as it is. It doesn't bother anyone. Just sometimes some responses happen. Sometimes some have been like, I don't know, trolls or how to say, and
Yeah,
I block. But mostly, yeah, it happens. What happens there? It doesn't matter, because if there are some others who have free will and choice, then they probably don't listen again and again and again if they hate
yeah,
this message, so to speak. When you are reading these comments, it feels like they don't, there is, I don't know what, they don't want to hear this, but still they come
yeah,
back and watching every video and commenting every video, and not only my
yeah.
videos. So they don't have any free will or choice to do.
No, no, and you know what, and when I was first listening to this communication, I was in that position too, because I was defending a position, because I was in the spiritual, you know, I was a spiritual teacher. So I just found this really ridiculous, but somehow there was something that was just so resonating. I could not explain it. Why do I keep listening to these videos? But because it's in opposition to all of my spiritual teachings, right? It's just, it doesn't make sense, because there is because I used to believe in the source and the self, and awareness and consciousness, and there's nothing wrong and right about that. It's just what is appearing as a teaching. But when a teaching appears, that's dualistic already. And this might sound even like a teaching to a person that's trying to figure out, but what's obvious here is that there is just really no one that's teaching this to anyone there, because it sees everything as emptiness. So it doesn't matter if I'm talking to anyone or if I'm addressing someone, because it's just what's obvious here is just in the directness and the clarity of this, there's just really no separation, because it's just a thought. Separation is just a thought. It's just an idea. It's just a concept. And when again, if we take a slice of this communication, it's just like birds chirping. There's really no separate, and there's not even any birds or just any chirping. It's just an illusion that feels absolutely real. Absolutely real. It's like a dream that you can't question. Like when you're dreaming at night, you don't question it at all. You don't say, is this a dream? It's just believe. You could be flying. You could be, I don't know, talking to whales or something. But it's never questioned. So when there's a question.
I had a question recently
Yeah,
inside the
yeah, go
dream
ahead.
that no that this dream was so awful. I was in hostage, and I woke up inside the dream because it was so awful that some thought arose that it can't be real. It can't be
Yeah,
real. It must
but
be
towards
dream.
the end, though, right? Towards the end, and then you're like, then you wake up. You're like, oh, no, it's not
Yeah,
real.
I wake my body up from this
Yeah,
dream
yeah.
because I was doing it. It was like looping in one
Oh,
place,
wow.
and I was like constantly trapped, so I
Yeah.
can't escape. So when I woke up like 10 times, I forgot that I am hostage and that my body doesn't move so quickly.
Oh,
So I
wow.
have to wait until I'm total sober so I can. So it happened like so many times, and then it felt like no, it can't be real, although it
Yeah.
felt so real. And then I was
Yes,
like awake inside the dream, although this is also the story and
it
dream
is. Yeah,
itself.
yeah.
But somehow this body waked up in the middle of night. It was completely dark. Raigo was next to me, and I didn't want to fall asleep right away because I thought that I land to the same situation. But yeah, it was
Wow.
inside the dream, like really first time felt that I was awake inside the dream, and it was awful. But this day dream often feels here as the dream also, like it's
Yeah,
just what happens and you can't do nothing.
yeah. And that's what seems to have collapsed, is the one that thinks that this is real. The one that has a position, the
Mm,
one that knows, right? So when there is just this, oh, this is a dream, but it's also feels real. So we can't even call it a dream, because that's just another word for something that's real and unreal.
mhm,
Um, but I have a question. It's kind of funny because I've been talking to a lot of people that have apparently um, been talking about their dreams. So I've done one-on-ones with people that have seemingly kind of like, of course there's no one that felt fallen away, and they call back and they're like, there's softness, or there is, contentment, but my dreams are crazy. It's like the me is active in the nighttime dream,
mm.
because it has nowhere to go now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, wow.
Because that's just another story, right? I don't really have dreams anymore. I kind of miss them. I just have a really deep sleep, or I
Mm,
dream of the color blue sometimes, or
mm,
something singular. It's
mm,
weird. But I remember when in the first, again, this is just a story. It doesn't really matter. In the first month that I did this, that I was just really dumbfounded. I was speechless for a month, because I could not come up with. It was a collapse. Like I did not know how to. And of course I was alone in a beach house too, so it was just, there's no one to talk to at the same time, but I did not make an effort. So I felt like I was just walking around the beach house, going outside the beach house, and there was no separation between the beach, the seagulls, the eagles, the whale, the ocean, and this. So it just basically was just a walking character back and forth without any sound or anything, without any thoughts, even just walking back and forth. And sometimes I'll be lying down in bed and my chest and my stomach would be rising and I would bolt down. I'm like, what the hell is happening? How is that doing that? Because there was just an absence of, it was just, I can't really explain it properly. This is a story, of course. But after that, my dreams were very vivid, at night. It's almost like the Emerson, because it got silenced, or it was seen as redundant and non-existent. So for maybe a month, or I don't know, this is just story. I had like really vivid dreams of the character Emerson, kind of like doing a whole bunch of Emerson stuff, because there was just this silence, because for quite a while I was just like, yeah, I didn't know who to talk to about this. It was just and when I came to Ontario, in Toronto, I reached out to a couple of people to talk to about this, and it was so great. It's so great. I'm grateful that you come to the meetings and talking in the breakout room. It's beautiful, because it's there's so many characters that are just really confused about this, right? But there's a longing for home, but they don't know that they're already home. And then you express it beautifully too, so that's what I used to do with the other speakers. Is I would be in a breakout room, and seemingly kind of like talk to people in a how's the breakout room, because I don't really go there that much, because I have my puppy.
I really love them. I usually, here is a thought that I go for the 15 minutes only, because it's so late in Estonia at that time when the breakout
Yeah,
room usually starts, when you do these Friday lives.
yeah,
And often it ends up with 4 or 5 hours and speaking. And yeah, sometimes there are only couple left, me and somebody else, and then we just talk about nothing. And it's good for me also as a learning English, so I enjoy.
yeah,
And even if here is so much tiredness, the body is tired, but here is energy. It's like there is no need to go to the bed, because this body doesn't fall asleep. So
yeah.
better talk.
Again, talking about this, there's so much passion, right? It's like, if there's no choice, because there's somehow, what I'm saying, there's just this expressing about this, and it's just, I feel the same way when I was in the breakout room. When I was speaking in a breakout room, like I would be speaking, just it didn't matter, two, three people, sometimes one person, and I'll be talking about this. I'm like, I do love talking about this. It's I feel like it's very childlike and innocent talking about this, right? Because there's no agenda,
Mm-hmm.
there's no I don't have anything that you don't have, because there's no you and I, and it's just it's so freeing to speak about this without being labeled as crazy.
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
it just and there's yeah, and it's and that's why I love, like when someone talks to me in a one-on-one, because I just have to almost like remind them what's obvious that appears in the morning, appears when you're doing something that you love, that
Mm-hmm.
there's an absence of your idea of you. And it's just, yeah, like in your talks, in your videos, it's the same thing that would being repeated over and over again. Right?
Yeah, but no one is choosing to do it. At first, I started to speak right away somehow, and here was like so much energy and like
Yeah,
can't control. And although here was have been all Ere's story like afraid to talk in the cameras, so I'm like watching from, I don't know, from the room. Ere is doing video recording, then uploading. Like I'm not doing it. So it was so crazy at the first. Now it's seemingly have everything is like more normal, but I think a
yeah,
couple of months or even half year I was like high. And now about I don't know, 1 month it feels a little bit tired, because you were all the time wow, wow.
yeah.
It's like the brain is almost like high in the daylight, because the
Yeah.
nature and the animals and everything was like wow, and your husband wow, and your daughter everything like. And then now it's like feeling a little bit tired, and maybe the weather also. And also what's interesting is that it feels here that preferences can be even stronger now,
Oh
when
yeah,
we
yeah,
have
yeah.
talked many years with Raigo. Raigo also said hi. I already forgot. And
Oh hi, Rago.
we have talked that we want to move to Spain or some
Yeah,
other warmer place because every time in the winter we are Estonia, we have problems with health. And when we are going to the
yeah,
vacation, with a couple of days, all problems are gone, and then we come back, and then we have the same problems back. So I don't know, and it feels like this body is now screaming even louder.
yeah. You know what? Preference is as real as the color red. It
Mm,
is, you know what I'm saying? It's real, you know what I'm saying? But it's also unreal at the same time. But there's no one choosing to have a preference or not. So it is what it is.
mm-hmm,
Um, but yeah, you know what? If there is a seeming kind of like, wanting to move out of there, then why not?
mm-hmm. Yeah, nothing is holding back, but it shows that if we are still here, it's again clearly saying that here is no free will or choice.
Yeah,
It is not
exactly.
that we are not here. So
Exactly. Yeah,
it
if
is
there
as
is
it
a free
is.
will and choice, I'm in the middle of winter here, and I don't like winter, the character, but somehow, what it enjoys because I have my Ella Bella, right? So I'm walking, in Winter Wonderland, petting coyotes. I had to show you a picture of the coyote that I talked about.
I haven't ever
I took a
seen.
picture
Yeah, I want
and
to see.
yeah, I'll send it to you. Oh yeah, you know what I wanted to share with you, and I'll share this probably in my meeting. It's kind of funny. For the first time in 5 years, I got really angry. At first, I was like thinking that there must be something wrong with me because I don't get angry anymore. I got beat up, I got mugged, and there's no anger. There
Yeah.
might be a flash of anger, but not a pronounced
Mm,
anger, um, it's just a flash, of anger, and then it dissipates. But
yeah.
the other day, yesterday, um, someone was arguing with my elderly dad, and I jumped in, and this little kid, little kind of like 21-year-old dude, was being disrespectful to my father, and my dad was shaking because he's an old man, right? And he's trying to get my mom to the van, and there's the guy blocking, and I just lost it. And I felt great. And then afterwards, I was smiling. I'm like, there's still anger that happens. It's great because, because this kid was just, in this story anyway, was being rude to my father. So that anger appeared. And luckily it did because the kid backed off, right? Because he was just being, because my dad is just, an old man, right? So he was, my dad is not really, he was trying to, and I just said, no,
Mm,
so you don't treat my father that way. And it was great. And I
mm-hmm.
was kind of like, and then I kind of like went, and my dad goes, why are you smiling? I'm like, I got angry. It's good. And he goes, thank you, son. Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Mm,
So there's no one choosing to do any of this. If I was in a spiritual world, I would have been meditating, putting incense over, kind of like blessing the house, taking the negative energy, lighting some sage and everything, because that was, you would think that there was something wrong with that,
exactly.
right?
Nothing wrong with anything.
No,
Just raw and
no.
innocent emotional
Yeah,
feeling arising for no one. And
yeah.
they vanish so quickly and they can be so full on like "Rah!" And then it's
Yeah, it was really
over.
full on. And it was full on for like, because there was an argument going back and forth because
Mm,
my dad was blocked in a parking. So he was trying to
mm,
back off. And in the event, he ended up, this guy that was illegally parked, it's not supposed to be there, um, hit, the car, but not really, just a little scratch, right? And the guy was freaking out on my dad, calling the police. I'm like, wait a second, you were parked illegally.
mhm.
And my dad tried to call, tried to get your car to whatever. But it was just fun to see that. It's almost like it was surreal because there was this character with this, all of this, you know feeling of anger, and the voice was higher,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
um and then of course my friend laughed at me. She goes, well, it's kind of like Mickey Mouse when Mickey Mouse gets angry, right? And I'm like, exactly, like a cartoon character that gets angry. But it's like all of this kind of like, the blowing, no, that kind of thing. But yeah, so everything just happens for no reason at all. But in the story, there's an apparent reaction. But
Mm-hmm.
what really is a reaction?
Mm-hmm.
Because there is really no time happening. It's like a dream. So a reaction is just an illusory cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to say the same, that it's seemingly there is cause and effect,
Yeah.
but as there is no time, it's yeah, nothing happens.
I love it when Rygo did a one-on-one after. He
Mm,
said, I want to dance too.
mm.
Is he dancing now?
Yeah, really, no worries. Yeah, and
Yeah, so good, huh?
it's so fun. Like I'm doing one-on-one, or we are doing one-on-one each day, and
Wow.
we had the same whatever. I don't remember the problem, what was there, or what question he had. And when he finished talking with you, then he came like, yeah,
Done.
that he said the same that you did, but sometimes it's good to listen
Yeah, yeah.
from other apparent ones, because yeah,
Yeah.
you're my wife, and of course I love you, but
It's the same. It's the same. There's no difference.
exactly the
Yeah.
same response.
Yeah.
Like and yeah.
But yeah, it's good. It's good
Just what
that
happens. I probably
yeah.
lost the answer. I don't know what was the question, but
I don't know.
yeah. It's so funny, like there is no memory at all. I was today listening your last video, what you were uploading to the internet,
Yeah.
YouTube, from this hybrid meeting, and I'm listening like more like 1 hour, and I was lying down, my eyes were closed, I was in eyelashes treatment, and I'm listening that. Oh, I haven't heard it. I wasn't in that live. And then before the end, you are saying something that I
Ere.
wrote to the chat. Yeah, and then what? Oh my god! Okay, like
You know
yeah,
what's funny? I don't listen to my talks.
yeah, me too. Only once when I'm correcting the subtitles, but
Yeah.
never listened to this. No, I
No,
never
no,
don't,
no.
and
You
I
know,
don't
it's so
remember.
funny because one time I was just like I'm hearing my voice somewhere, right? It's so weird. And I'm like, and then I see my mom watching my videos. I'm like, mom, don't watch it. Don't watch it. It's against your belief system. You know, she's a devout Catholic, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's and then you know what? She just had a smile, you know. She's a
Mm-hmm.
little deaf, so maybe she's not hearing everything. So,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah,
she said, I'm just proud and
yeah,
happy that you're speaking and you seem really happy when you talk about it. And
beautiful.
guess all they hear is just me laughing and
Mhm.
they probably don't know what I'm talking about. So they wanted to see
This is
it's just
just love.
it's just love. It's just
Mhm.
love. This is just love that doesn't have any options. Love that doesn't have any it
Meanings, purpose,
no meaning, no purpose,
difference.
no doing. It's not a love that's doing anything. It's just
Mhm.
love. The absence of doing and the appearance of someone doing is love. The you know the clarity of non-separation, but the felt sense of separation simultaneously is love.
Mhm.
And there's nothing separate, you know, and from anything at all.
Mhm.
So it's
Mhm.
just love loving itself unconditionally as it is.
And also interesting when Raigo is watching my video and I'm on the side, we're driving somewhere or at home, and I don't have anything else to do, then I'm like watching with him like this, like I'm watching somebody else. Like I don't, I don't, I don't know. It's not me. I'm
Yeah, yeah. It's so weird,
and
huh? Like,
and there is no embarrassment. But before I couldn't watch myself, I couldn't listen my voice. Now
oh,
it's
I
like I'm
know.
watching like Emerson is talking with Raigo, let's say.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
funny
feel.
because you know I used to be so conscious, you
Mm.
know, of you know of videos and everything. Like I could not stand. Now I can watch it, but there's just no interest in it
Mm-hmm.
as
Yeah, yeah,
well.
yeah.
It's just seen as a character that's just talking about it. And the only thing that I kind of like, you know what, when I'm editing, I make those thumbnails, right? I just look for a smiling picture. I'm like, okay, there it is.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Copy, and that's
mm-hmm,
basically it. Yeah.
mm-hmm,
When
mm-hmm.
are you gonna start doing a Zoom meeting? Ere? I bet you people are going to be are asking you about that.
Yeah, they have asked, but I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, here have been also some impulses to do it, but I don't see any reason. I don't see any
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
So I love to do
That's
one
what I said
alone.
too for quite a while.
Mm. And I'm so thankful. Yeah, I'm so thankful that you are doing this, although you are not doing this, but
Yeah,
still, like these are seemingly helpful, seemingly
yeah.
to
Oh,
listen
thank
this
you.
communication. Not here, I mean everywhere who are listening this.
Yeah,
And like I know that you don't have any purpose, any meaning. You're doing this
yeah,
for free or for donations, and
yeah.
it just happens. And I know, as here everything can happen like this, or stuff like this, then also this free zooms also can stop at any time. So at least for now, lots of thankful here
Oh, thank
that
you
you're
too.
doing this, what we are doing.
Thank you for referring those people to come to one on one
Mm.
with me because they're
Yeah.
like, I'm like, oh, another one from Ere. It's like,
But I don't do it all the time. So
yeah,
it feels like, this energy can, yeah,
yeah,
fit
yeah,
you, Emerson. This energy can fit, or there are some kind of different characters and
yeah,
where they are in their story and so on.
yeah.
So yeah, I gladly always suggest
They,
to do it with
there's
you.
just a lot of love here, Ere.
Mm,
Yeah,
indeed.
there's a lot of love here, for you
Mhm.
and Rigo. And
Mm.
I'm hoping that we see each other soon, in person.
Yeah,
I'm going to get the date on Wednesday for the Ontario one. Maybe that will be the best because
good.
you know what,
Because we were
it's
already
not that
booked. We
yeah.
already checked the tickets and they were quite cheap.
Yeah,
So
they're cheap in June or July, right?
mhm,
It's
mhm.
perfect. So I'll
Yeah,
let you know the dates, and
awesome.
it's just gonna be good just to kind of like be relaxed. Maybe have a couple of meetings. Maybe you can do a live meeting one of
Mm.
the day. Ah, there you go.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, and it's just I think Catriana is coming too, and
Mm.
other people. So I'll let you know the dates. I'm just I don't
Mhm,
want to bug the person,
mhm,
and
mhm. And
because they're offering the space, and
yeah,
it's going to be a good and I'm really just going to keep it to, just really minimum
yeah.
people and everything, right? And I'm even planning to change it to, not even paying, but everybody just contributes with the food so we can have a
Mhm,
potluck
mhm,
every day,
mhm, mhm.
and everybody cook. And I know you cook a lot of good vegan. I love vegan stuff.
Mm.
So yeah. Okay, we'll have fun. Sorry, I'm just babbling right now about nothing. But yeah,
That's good. Yeah, I'm. We're waiting it.
yeah.
So you are not coming to Europe, but you are going to Australia, or
Because I have to take care of family stuff, right? So I have tickets, but I have to postpone it
mm,
because of family obligations and everything.
mm, mm,
Um, and yeah, it's gonna be. I'll get there somehow. I'll get there somehow. It's supposed to be in Europe by now, but because of the news that I have to take care of something here,
yeah, yeah,
then
I know.
then there's just it's the same, it's
Yeah,
just
exactly,
it's
exactly.
the
It doesn't
same.
matter.
It
Like
doesn't
I
matter.
even don't feel that you are there. You are
I
here,
know.
and it doesn't
That's
matter.
why it doesn't really matter.
Mm,
It's nothing to be upset about because it is what it
no,
is. You know,
no.
I used to be those kind of character that would be reactive, and think about this and everything.
Maybe in the story of Ere also,
Yeah,
but not no. Yeah,
not anymore.
like
It's it's just seen as what is. And I'm laughing about even the whole anger moment yesterday. I'm like, oh wow. And I'm telling my brothers about it. They're like, well, that's good. We haven't really, there never been any Emerson drama now, right? I used to be a dramatic
uh,
character that used to kind of like get
now you're
bothered by
boring.
everything. Became boring,
Yeah,
boring Emerson.
same, same.
But yeah, it would be great to what's great about this, although there's no one and there's really no relationship, is the apparent friendships that
Mm-hmm,
seems to
mm-hmm.
appear,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
although it doesn't have a purpose or meaning,
yeah.
it is more innocent in the story anyway. There's just this innocence as friends, and there's no agenda,
Yeah.
right? There's just this apparent friendship, And I talked to Grace, I talked to you, I talked to a few parent characters out there, and it's not the same as when I was in spirituality, that there were hierarchies,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and there was something, or worrying about saying the wrong thing or something. There's no authority.
yeah,
It's just everything is as it is, whatever it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's so free that you don't have to be somehow. You don't have to be
No.
in some kind of role to act some way. And anyway, Ere never acted like other were waiting. Like she didn't care liking others. So who liked, liked. Who didn't, who cares?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
yeah, and now it's like
Exactly.
having friends with so short time in every country that I can visit and say hi. It's amazing.
It
And
is.
yeah.
It is. It's like when there is no more agenda, and no more kind of like, it's almost like there's just this unfiltered friendship
Mm-hmm.
without any,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no holding on to it,
Mm-hmm.
holding on to it of what I can get or what they can give me. It's just as it is,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's yeah,
And whatever happens,
whatever happens, yeah. Well, I miss it.
you have some meeting coming.
Yeah, I have some video coming.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eri. I love you, love you, love you, love you. Although there's just this love,
Yeah.
and love to Rago too.
Yeah. Thank
And
you. Bye.
thank you for inviting me to do this. This is awesome.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Bye.